It's the Culture Check. Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody's day is going well. I'm going to just start off by saying this. LeBron James has, I think, risen everybody's freaking blood pressure to the max of all maxes. I mean, had us thinking that he's about to damn retire. We're about to get this whole LeBron farewell, only for it to be a damn Hennessy VSOP product launch. Yo, run the clip. Just run the clip. Just. All right, so look, we you know what? We ain't gonna run the clip. We just not gonna run it. We're just not gonna run it. I'm gonna just say this: if LeBron was to retire, the stadiums would be so packed. I think everybody was waiting on him to say that. I got a guest joining me today, of course, on the Coach Couch. Y'all know her, everybody's favorite midday homegirl, Hollywood Royalty, is in the building. What's up, girl?
What's going on with you, Ace? I love that Hollywood Royalty. I'm about to steal that.
Look here. We're going to get right into it. We was talking about LeBron. Now we moving on to Aisha and Steph. Woo-hoo-hoo. And you know the crazy part? You just got married. Y'all ain't had kids yet.
No.
You ain't gonna pull this 10, 15 years down the line. You ain't gonna tell bruh on a podcast inadvertently that you ain't want to be married or you ain't want to have kids.
You know what? And the crazy part is I love Aisha Curry. So I have been defending Aisha since her first comments, the first comments about, not getting people saying she look good or not getting attention, right? I've been defending her. But I genuinely feel like on this podcast, she was talking about her younger self. And I can agree with that because I'm not gonna lie. When I was just coming out of high school, going into college, I didn't want to get married either. I knew I wanted to do radio, entertainment, all that. I didn't want to get married. I didn't want to have kids. I'm not, against my husband or anything like that just because I admit that. I still love my husband, but at the same
bruh,
time,
Aaron, when you see this replay, we are not trying to despise the marriage at all. We just having a genuine conversation.
He knows this because we talked about this last night. I told him, you know what I'm saying? He knows. I didn't want to get married like a while ago because I knew what this career takes. But at the same time, he made a valid point, and he was like, but when your husband is Steph Curry and it's a multimillionaire and you're able to do the things that you can do, you don't go on a public podcast and say these things. Like, you just keep it to yourself.
I think a lot of people are forgetting that she's getting to do all these things freely at her will whenever she desires to. So I think the same energy that she took to go do this podcast and say those things. And then, of course, there are things that we want to be as a young teen going into an adult. But then, of course, when that thing called life hits you, it changes. I get it. But there are certain things you don't say. And saying I didn't want to have kids, I mean, Riley's 13. So Riley's going to see that. I'm sure she's going to ask her, well, Mom, you didn't want me? Like, that's like, so I mean, love versus reality. What does that say to you when you think of these high profile marriages that have, I guess, regular people issues, if you want to say, because there's clearly something going on there that ain't fully been rectified yet.
You know, and I've heard some blind items about, you know, and we don't get into blind items because we can't prove they're true. But I will say I have heard some blind items about that marriage. And so the fact that she has come out and said some things, I'm like, dang, these blind items might be true. But I will say that old saying goes, everything that glitters ain't gold. And so I believe that, like, you know, it might look good. And even with money and fame, people will tell you marriage is tough. Thankfully, you know, knock on wood, I'm still early in, so I ain't felt it yet. Knock on wood. But they have been married for a while. They got married when she was super young, and it's Steph Curry. Very young. He's a high-profile athlete.
Yeah, they got married at the peak of his career. Like, that's, I mean, you kind of got to know what you're getting yourself into, and you kind of already got to know what's expected to come. Like, you're married to Steph Curry, one of the greatest shooters of all time, and the first time you complained about not getting enough attention. The second time you complained about, what the fuck did she complain about the second time? Like, she complained so damn much. Like, if you married to Steph Curry, like, I would say, shit, you got a pretty good life, right? Your bills ain't never late, right? So listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to move on. We're going to pivot, and there's a video that I want to show y'all. Something went down on Capitol Hill today with Pam Bondi and Senator Lindsey Graham. Check this out right here. Check this out.
You can't, can you?
I can't, Senator, and I can't.
Can you tell me why my phone records, when I'm the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, were sought by the Jack Smith agents? Why did they ask to know who I called and what I was doing from January 4th to the 7th? Can you tell me that?
No, Senator, and there were 8 senators in total.
Do you think that was an abuse of power?
I'm there.
Senator, I cannot discuss whether there is or is not an ongoing investigation. If I may add one thing, they also wasted $50 million on what you just described, trying to put President Trump in jail prior to the election.
Before Senator Whitehouse, I want to...
That was Pam Bondi and Senator Lindsey Graham this morning on Capitol Hill. It's been going down this morning, y'all. Make sure you head over to the YouTube to check that out. So listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to call... we're going to make a quick call real quick on the show. This is something that we're going to just do differently. And I'm going to call Annette Albright. She's here in Charlotte. And we're just going to have a quick conversation with her about things here in Charlotte. Miss Albright.
Hey, how are you?
How are you doing? Everybody welcome Miss Annette Albright to the show. Woo! Miss Albright, how you doing?
I'm great. Hope you are.
Man, there's so much light shining on the city of Charlotte right now. And you know, there's election coming up. Everybody's talking about it. One thing in particular that I wanted to bring to your attention, I'm sure you've noticed it and questioned it too. There's only one early voting precinct. Why?
Well, so my understanding is that over some of the past years, they have had several early voting precincts, but the traffic just wasn't that high.
Yeah.
So as a cost-wise decision, that they made that decision to only open one precinct.
Okay. So what should the people of Charlotte know about this upcoming election? How important is this upcoming election to you?
Listen, this upcoming election is very important because I believe here in the city of Charlotte, we are at a pivotal point.
Yeah.
And I think that most people can agree that we need some work and that we have to do that work in order to keep Charlotte as a city that is not only safe, but, safe for families, safe for visitors, safe for our children. And I think that's the biggest priority is safety. And what has happened over the last 5 years, that we really see that Charlotte is not as safe as our elected officials want us to think that it is.
Well, Miss, let me ask you a question. When's the last time you rode the light rail?
I have never ridden the light rail.
Okay. Do you just out of curiosity, if you had to guess, who would you think politician wise in Charlotte has not rode the light rail not one time? That's in a current seat. Just if you had to throw a name out there, what's the first name that comes to mind that you know for a fact that hasn't rode it?
I think a better question would be which one has rode the light rail. I don't think any of them probably has taken the light rail, except for photo op.
So how do we improve the safety with youth in Charlotte? I seen some of your comments, which is why I wanted to bring you on the show to begin with. So thank you for taking out the time to come. But what is your viewpoint as of right now today with the city of Charlotte and the African-American youth?
Wow. That's a very complex question that has several layers. My opinion is, and again, my career started in the prisons, went through the educational system, child support enforcement, so back to the court. So I've always been working in human services. And what I saw happen was I think that standards were lowered and expectations were lowered specifically for Black students and Black children. And all children, regardless of race, regardless of income level, whether they're in a single household or a two-parent household, all children need guidance and expectations. And I think some of the things were done with good intentions, but I feel like now we have to turn around and look at the mistakes that we've made, and we have to go back and we have to reformat some things, and we have to rethink some things.
So, I mean, what could we do as a village here in Charlotte to I guess put the spark back in the youth? I mean, when you put our education system up against other counties, I mean, we lack at reading, we lack at math. I mean, what those are important cores that you have to pass, right?
Right.
So I mean, where can we go from here to make sure that our students are performing like they need to? Because as you said, the standards were lowered, but we can't get anywhere with low standards, right?
Absolutely not. Right. So one of the things that is priority for me is we have to get our communities reinvested in education. We have to get our parents into these schools. Our parents need to be in these board meetings. Our Black parents need to know what's going on inside these schools and with the students, and not just saying, hey, okay, here's my child, educate them.
Yeah.
You have to keep an eye on your child and what's going on in the schools. And you also have to have a collaborative relationship with that educator. And combined with that, with standards and expectations for your child. If every single parent that has a child in Charlotte Mecklenburg schools does this, we would have an amazing outcome. Black students are naturally bright. They naturally know how to survive. But any child will push boundaries if you allow them to push those boundaries.
Yes, ma'am. No, I totally agree. Back when you was teaching at Hardin, what was your viewpoint of inner city schools then versus now? I mean, now you've ran for school board numerous of times. You've and you're continuously, being visible in the community. What is your viewpoint now?
So when I first went into the school system, and the story behind that was I left adult probation and parole because I was very frustrated with trying to help and change grown people. The hardest thing to change is a mindset. Yeah. So I'm thinking, how can I catch them earlier before they're sitting in front of me, 35 years old with 5 felonies and all the challenges that come with that. So I decided to go into the school system. My first 2 to 3 months were eye-awakening. And my first thought was, oh my God, parents believe that their children are coming to school to be educated and they're not being educated. So what I did specifically at Hardin, there was no guidance. There was no expectations. The educators were coming to school like, I need to get in my 40 hours and that's what I'm going to do. So what I did was I just started applying those basic things. And within a year, it went from a campus where when the bell rang, the students wouldn't even move, to when the bell rang, the students were running to class. But I involved parents. I started calling parents and saying, hey, do you know your child is behaving like this at school? Because regardless of what people think, Black parents do want the best and better for their children. Yeah. But if you're not communicating with those parents and they have no idea what's going on. So that was in 2016. Mm-hmm. You fast forward to now and you have violence has increased more. Mm-hmm. The highly qualified educators are leaving the career. Mm-hmm. And you have substitute teachers. You have people who, may have criminal backgrounds. This is what's in our school, educating our children. And until we change the culture of public schools, it's not going to get better.
I totally agree with you, and we definitely gotta keep it going. When teachers are paid more than once a month, I think the teachers will be more involved. And that's coming from being a product of CMS, right? Mm-hmm. I can recall hearing my teachers complain about not having enough food for their own kids. And,
right.
So I think a lot of that goes into the morale of the classroom. There's a lot of things that CMS has to change. One in particular, the safety. 2, you got to pay the teachers. I mean, teachers aren't being paid enough. And then I'm hearing about incentives for teachers that's been there for 10, 13 years. But I think at this point, the way that we're going with social media in this generation, kids got to have more options. There's not enough options. Right. Where's Parent University, where it physically taught the parents what the kids were working on in class? I remember that from 8th grade. And then once Peter Gorman was here, once he came in, that went out.
Yes.
So it's like...
Well, actually, Peter Gorman started Parent University.
Yeah, he started. I'm sorry. Correct. He started it.
Right.
But things like that, I can remember that would help. They're no
Mm-hmm.
longer here. Why is that?
Well, one thing about Peter Gorman and his delivery of Parent University, you know, he got all the educators together and say, hey, since we can't get parents to do it, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to teach them how to do it, but you're going to do it until we can get parents to do it. So I think the delivery came off wrong. You're talking about educators that are overworked. They work anywhere from 50 to 60 hours per week on weekends. They have classrooms that are filled over capacity. They have their own families. They have their own children.
Yeah.
And you had a superintendent that said, okay, and you're going to take on parenting duties for your students. I think today with technology, we really have to utilize the technology that we have. In today's environment, there is no reason for a parent to say, I cannot make the student-parent meeting when you can Zoom that meeting.
Absolutely
If you
right.
need to get in contact with your teachers, educators now have cell phones, and they don't mind, you know, if parents call them or text them with a problem. Most of them will usually get back to them. And I also think that not every student can perform well in a traditional school setting. So for those students that a traditional school setting does not work for, we need to find alternatives for those students. We can't allow 3 students to stop 40 from learning. So one of the things that I am looking at is actually how can we use our technology to make sure that every child has access to a good education. I want to educate our parents on their role. Their role is pivotal in the educational journey. And again, with the technology, you can go on your child's Canvas report or whatever your schools and look at what they're doing. If you need help, you can go to websites that will teach you how to do the math so you can turn around and teach it to your child. So now there's so much technology and so many more opportunities. I am hoping that everyone will embrace those opportunities and help lift our children out of this educational slump. I mean, we are really in a crisis with public education.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Annette Albright, thank you for coming on the show today. I definitely look forward to speaking back with you this come election night so we can revisit some of these certain things that we're talking about. You enjoy the rest of your day, okay?
Thank you. You also.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Annette Albright right here. She is a City of Charlotte leader. She's heavily invested in the community. Great way to get her to talk about the necessary things that we have going on in the culture. Royalty, you still there? She's still there?
Okay. Yes, I'm here.
All right, so look, man, we get ready to wrap up the show, and I want to tell y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. You going to join us for the show tomorrow? You going to join us for the show tomorrow?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, you going to join us for the show tomorrow?
What time?
We're gonna probably do like 12 o'clock, man. You know, it's not really no set times yet outside of 7.
Okay,
so we're just gonna kind of play it by ear. But yeah, man. Prescilla Till running for Senate. That's gonna be an important election to watch. The state of Mississippi is gonna be on 1,000. I know it's going to get real grimy and nasty. So, ladies and gentlemen, brace yourself, because come this time next year, I think we're going to be in a whole different stratosphere of gossip, griminess, and politics. It's the Coach Check. Make sure y'all follow Hollywood Royalty on Instagram at The Real Royalty. I'm live with Ace, LIVEWITHACE. Thank y'all for spending y'all lunchtime with me too, man. It's Coach Check. We out. Peace.